now they can hear us.
They can they?
Yep. I guess I can make this a little bigger right here, and I could even try and center it, I guess. Let's see if I can do that. Transform. Center vertically. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There's not an undo. I can just drag it up. Center horizontally. There it is. Look at that. We're a professional show. All right. Ready when you are. Give me a second actually. No, we gotta do the time.is thing. Are you guys recording?
Oh wait, no, I gotta
Hang
load
on.
that up too. Hold on a second.
I just said we were
Yeah, I don't have that
professionals.
set up. I forgot about that. Audacity, was it?
Yep.
All right, I'm recording now, but my waveform is like really small.
Should I hit record before we decide on a time or whatever?
Yeah. John, turn yourself up a little bit then if you want. Until you're comfortable with your waveform.
I just don't want to be too loud for you guys.
Wait, what the fuck happened?
That's
Yeah,
kind of
you
loud.
sound super loud now. Okay, I'm gonna hit record.
That's fine.
I'm recording now.
John, did you split the diff?
I'm working on it. How's that?
That's very quiet. Quieter than you were before.
How's this?
Probably where you were before.
Whatever. I'll just keep it where it was so that it's a comfortable level for you guys. And if you need to bump me up, you can add gain in post.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure, whatever.
All right, let me turn you guys up again like I did last time. Both talk a little more.
Talk. Hey.
Okay. All right. I think we're all even. All right. Are you guys on time.is?
Yes.
No, I need to do that too.
Okay.
My clock is 11.4 seconds ahead.
Mine is 0.7 seconds ahead.
So
we're gonna clap before and we're gonna clap after because last time I feel like at some point things didn't line up anymore, which is weird. So
okay.
All right. Let's clap at 40 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. Ready when you are. Yep.
Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds podcast. I'm your host, John. Here with me today are Brian.
Hey.
And Alex.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk a handful of game news as well as Resident Evil 3 Remake. But before we get to all of that, if you want to follow us on social media or see other places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You could subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at mpn.bz/Patreon. As always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. We are Twitch affiliates, so feel free to give us your subscription on Twitch, your Prime subscription, or you can sub for like $4.99 or something like that. Think about that. It helps us out if you don't feel like doing the Patreon thing because you already have a Twitch account, but you don't want to have another account on another app called Patreon. Just something to consider. I hate having a million accounts, but I do. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, Alex, bumpers for the network. What do you have?
Yes, the boys over at Horror Movie Yearbook talked about 1985's Fright Night back on April 3rd. Please go give that a listen. They did talk about Resident Evil Resistance over there, which is the asymmetric multiplayer game, and a little bit of Predator Hunting Grounds and some Friday the 13th. So there's some video game talk. Please go check that out. And of course, Westworld FM is still going. We're halfway through the season now. There's 4 more episodes left. So give that a watch or a listen. Give the show a watch and then listen to our podcasts, and you'll be the most informed Westworld watcher that you know.
Do it. And then join the Patreon so you can talk to me about it because Alex and Nick don't talk to me about it as much as I want them to.
Sorry. Now that I have a little more free time in my schedule, especially the day after I'm going to be I'm going to be able to watch it twice very close to each other, and I can talk about it more on Monday. So
Yeah.
we'll
No,
be
I
good.
just kind of go nuts with it and just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of obsessed right now, but that's a whole other story.
John is the crackpot theorizer in the Discord group, but
Yeah.
you too could also be a crackpot theorizer if you join for as little as $5 a month,
Think
and
about it.
we'd love to have you there.
Indeed. Brian, what have you been playing?
A lot of the same stuff I was playing before, like a little bit of PUBG, Call of Duty Warzone,
You beat
D2.
Doom, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Okay, sorry.
Um, I played a bit more of the RE2 remake, Resident Evil 2 remake. Um, that's cool. It's just like, man, I'm just so used to all the zombie games that I've played and like how easy it is to dispatch them.
Mm,
And in this game, it's like I never know when they're actually dead or not.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I feel like it's a crapshoot. Like you have to decide, do I waste more ammo killing them or do I just take my chances? And I also feel like maybe I'm killing too many of them and I'm not supposed to kill all of them and I'm just supposed to get around them. It
yeah. With that game, and it's funny if you watch my stream of Resident Evil 3, but I've always tried to do more navigating around than killing. But there's certainly some times in that game where if you leave that like first hallway that you go down festering with zombies and then you revisit it later and they keep dumping more zombies into it, it's kind of a nightmare. So, but at the same time, you can also use the grenade sub weapon as a normal weapon, and you can clear out rooms a little bit
uh
easier if there's a lot more people around, you know.
was- I don't have a grenade sub weapon right now.
Well, you'll find one at some point.
I have a pistol which has the extended mag now, which is very helpful.
Nice.
A knife sometimes because they break fucking too easily, and a lot of shotgun shells with no shotgun.
Mm.
That's
Well,
about it.
gotta get on that shotgun. Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah. So when you're using the knife, are you countering with it?
I don't even know what you mean by that.
So when you get grabbed by a zombie in Resident Evil
Oh, yeah,
2,
okay.
yeah, you can press the button to pop a knife in them and push them back.
But that still doesn't kill them.
It doesn't
And then the
necessarily kill
knife is
them,
stuck in them, and
but
sometimes I can't get it back.
it saves you from losing health, and then also if you can put them down, you can take the knife back out. But yeah,
My general strategy is to shoot them until they fall down, and then I knife their head for a while until they die. But that seems to go through knives pretty quick.
yeah, that might not be worth it, but I don't know.
Um,
To each
yeah.
their own. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, it's an experiment. Worst case scenario, I'll just like reload my game further back.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I like the cool little puzzle elements to it and stuff. That's more fun
Mhm.
to me than actually dealing with zombies. I
Yeah.
kind of just wish they weren't even there half the time and I could just explore around and find things.
Puzzle mode Resident
Um,
Evil.
yeah. Let's see what else. Well, we were talking about maybe playing Civ 5, like multiplayer. So that got me playing Civ 6 again yesterday because I realized how little I played Civ 6, but I always talk about how 5 is probably better. But yeah, I figured I'd go back and visit 6
I
on
think
my own.
everybody agrees that 5 is a better game.
Um, yeah, well, I want a more educated opinion on 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine so far. I feel like I mean I remember barbarians being an issue in Civ 5, but I feel like they're like a plague of rats in Civ 6. Like they're fucking everywhere all the time. At least in the first, like 80 turns or so.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it's just to give you something to do because generally you can't or won't like interact with civilizations. that early on, and it just gives you something else to do other than to wait for your granary to be built for 8 turns or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I definitely prefer the style of 5 better, like the more like subdued kind of normal. I don't know how to explain it. It's not cartoonish like 6,
Right.
which I prefer. But yeah, I don't know. It does look nice. It runs well. And what else did I play? Yeah, Doom Eternal I did finish. And man, that game went on a lot longer than I expected. It took me like 20 hours to finish it. I
Wow.
mean, partially because it just gets really, really hard in the last like third of the game. In all aspects, like there's one level that you're in where they just throw this insane platforming at you to where if you're off by like ever so slightly, you'll miss the jump, and then you'll have to start this whole chain of jumps over again. That was super frustrating. There's even a part where you have to shoot something while in midair to open a door, or if the door's not open, you just like hit it and fall into the level and have to start over.
I'm glad I didn't buy this game because I think I would hate it.
I mean, it's very impressive at first. It's definitely like they everything cool about Doom like times 10.
Yeah.
Just the gore and like the speed of it all, and the music is awesome. The collectibles, the secrets and stuff are really cool. But it's just like it's the whole cycle of managing your health and ammo and stuff is too much. Like I feel like I'm playing like an inventory management sim at the same time I'm playing the fastest fucking shooter I can think of in the last decade. And it's too much. Like I don't want to keep looking at like, oh crap, I'm shooting things and I'm out of ammo already and I just filled up my ammo capacity 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
and constantly thinking about switching weapons and switching to the different like mods. There's like 2 mods for each gun, like in Doom 2016. Trying to figure out which ones are most effective on which monsters. Doing all that on the fly is just, it's too much. Like I liked 2016 more because it was a little more pure, like a pure fast shooter with some cool mechanics, like the glory kill thing, but it wasn't like this. The glory kill is just one of like 4 things you have to do basically to keep
Mm-hmm.
healthy and armored and full of
Fueled up.
ammo.
Yeah.
And yeah. Um but I mean overall, like I would say good game if you want to get frustrated and really liked Doom 2016, then I would still pick it up. If you're really good at video games, or I mean, that's definitely a good game to pick up too. Like if you want a challenge, because I had to turn the difficulty down. By the end of the game, I turned the difficulty down all the way because the boss at the end, even on the easiest mode, took me like 30 minutes. And that was not restarting. Like I did it in one try, but it took that long. He's like it's just an insane boss. And it
Yeah.
has like 2 phases, and yeah, it was wild. But I'm glad I finished it, but I probably won't revisit it again anytime soon. I'd more likely go back to 2016 before I went back to Eternal.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Kind of a bummer. Like I know you were excited for that one, but
Yeah, for sure. I got my money's worth. No doubt about that.
that's good at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? All you've like played, or did you have other stuff you want?
That's all that I can think of.
Alex, what about you?
So I finished Half-Life Alex this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I don't know off the top of my head what my full playtime was, but I'd probably put it somewhere around 10ish hours. Um, it's a great experience, and the one thing that I kind of regret about it all is that I don't feel as though I played with the physicality of the world that much. You watch some of these videos of the trailers and other people playing it, and you have them like pulling out the door of the car to use as cover, and ducking a lot more and kind of crouching around things and stuff like that. I didn't do a ton of that. It was a lot of me kind of standing there because that's what I'm used to doing in VR games.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that they didn't necessarily find a way to encourage you to do more than you would normally do, because I feel like the game is certainly more capable than a lot of other VR games in terms of you being able to interact with the world. But still, I think it's a great experience. Um the way it ends, I can't imagine that they won't make more, but I know people said that about Half-Life 2 episode 2 as well. um so that'll be interesting to see. There's a good subversion of expectations because this game takes place between Half-Life and Half-Life 2. And so there's some interesting stuff that goes on there. But yeah, overall, I think it's a lot of fun. From what I've heard, the Index is really the best way to play it because you don't really get to do a lot of the gripping motions and things like that with the Oculus or other VR platforms.
Mm.
So, but between not playing it at all or playing it, I would say check it out if you've got another VR headset that you can try it on. But yeah, I think it's great. I am interested to see if they do more or if they continue to make games, because it was nice to have a new Valve game to play, and curious to see if they keep making VR stuff.
I
And
was going to say it's nice to have a developer like Valve doing something with their hardware
Mm-hmm.
and basically using it to its fullest extent. Um, you don't really see other developers doing that necessarily.
yeah, I haven't really found. I know it's probably out there somewhere, but I haven't really found a good way to understand the technical ability of these VR games, because we're basically at a point where you can play Oculus releases on the Vive and the Index, and you can also play Steam releases on the Oculus and things of that nature. But I don't necessarily know that there's a great way out there for you to learn what's going to use the Index to its fullest potential and what's going to use the Oculus to its fullest potential, and where are you going to miss out and that type of thing.
Right.
So I'm curious to see if Half-Life Alyx kind of starts informing other VR development and showing people how they can use the Index more, especially with the grip controllers. Um, but yeah, I think it's great, and I think if you like Half-Life and you have the ability to play it in VR, because that's the only way you can play it, you should probably check it out. Um, I've also continued playing Animal Crossing. Um, Not a whole lot of new updates there. Mostly just trying to make them bells, pay off them
You did
loans.
come on down to Boner Town.
I did come on down to Boner Town, and that was great because I sold apples and made 63,000 bells or something. But
Hell yeah.
Man, I wish I could go to Boner Town.
I can bring you down to Boner Town.
But if it costs me $60, man,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, Boner Town is worth a $60 price of admission.
If you need something to like make use of your anal retentive organization skills, it may be worth the $60.
Well, that's the thing that was interesting to me, is that when I came to Boner Town, I found that you had like actually taken to rearranging your trees and things like that. Whereas
Oh, I deforested that shit in a whole bunch of areas, man. I fucked up that land.
Nicole and I, like, Firefest Island is basically just a
A shit
hodgepodge
show?
of random shit all over the place. At one point, I had Stonehenge sitting next to my house, which is located
Ah,
on a
man,
beach.
I went all Brazilian government on the Amazon on Boner Town.
I think there's like I know that the game kind of eventually gets you there because you can start rearranging where people's houses are located, and designing pathways and making ramps and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't necessarily know. It's hard for me being that second player on our system because I don't get a lot of that stuff. Like Nicole
Yeah.
basically has to say, "Here's where a bridge is going," and then we both get to donate money to it.
Ha-
But
Has she been playing again?
yes, yeah, she's been playing more.
She got over the hump of you ruining the game for
Yes, and I've also tried to not
her.
ruin the game for her
Further ruin
anymore.
it.
Yeah, and I think she's having a better time with it than she was.
Good.
But yeah, they're doing an Easter event that's wrapping up today, and
hmm
people are very pissy about the eggs that you get for it. I don't, John. Did you play enough to run into much of that?
Yeah, I mean, I went around collecting a bunch of the eggs, and I don't really know what they do other than they're just another like edible piece that you can use to like dig up trees and shit and smash rocks.
So there's like 30-ish recipes that you were able to collect over the past 12 days.
Okay.
And if you made them all, then you were going to get a special recipe or two, which you get today. None of them are particularly great. They all look extremely ugly. I don't really like any of them.
Yeah, unless you're like some weird like Easter fanatic that like this is your holiday, you
You
know?
got a
Like
got a good Easter fetish or something like that.
yeah, some weird furry fetish specifically
um,
revolving around the Easter bunny.
the thing I will say is that all of the Easter recipes, most of the Easter recipe, there's a recipe that is a dress that I think costs one or two of each egg, and there's 6 different types of egg, and you can craft those and sell them for like $7,000 a piece or something like that. So that's
That's
kind of fun.
ridiculous.
But other than that, like the eggs, so you get sky eggs that drop from when you shoot the balloons and the presents drop on the island. So that's a
Yeah.
sky egg. You can get water eggs from fishing, which is infuriating when you're trying to get fish, especially since they ran a fishing tournament yesterday and they lowered the spawn rate for the eggs, but it still was kind of rough. And then also there's leaf eggs that drop off of trees. There's wood eggs that you chop out of trees, and then there's stone eggs that you shovel out of stones.
That makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, it all makes sense, but people are pretty butthurt about it, and I don't blame them. I think it's kind of a weird event, but
The whole game's weird, man. Like, let's not limit it to like an event. It's this whole game. It's so dumb, but I can't stop playing it. Like, I don't know why. Like, I like going through and digging up trees and making everything look perfect. And maybe like I've never been that anal about organization or anything. Like my my room is a mess.
your Animal
Like
Crossing life is more organized than your real life.
I guess, man. But yeah, it's the game's so stupid.
So
I made a Midwest Game Nerds t-shirt though.
I saw that. I'm gonna have because you can share the QR code for it. I think
Yeah, I don't know
somehow.
how to do that.
Yeah, I don't know either yet, but I'll have to get that from you. But the other thing that I will say is that I'm kind of having fun just kind of maintaining things with it, or like checking in and getting some money each day, making sure all the stones have been shoveled at our island, and taking advantage of when there's people that'll buy fish for double the price or
you
insects for more
you
money.
shovel the stones, you're not hitting them with the axe.
No, I do the shovel.
Is there a
Mostly
difference?
not not that I know of.
Shouldn't it be a pickaxe?
It should.
Yeah, they don't have that. Um are you doing the whole trick, John, where you put the 2 or 3 holes behind you when you go to shovel, you can get all eight things from the stone?
Oh no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so if you like you basically only need 2, but usually when you're facing the stone and you're shoveling, it kind of angles you a little
Yeah,
bit, so
and
you will get pushed a
it
little
pushes
bit.
you back. Yeah,
It
there's like a
pushes you
recoil.
back normally, but if you put 2 or 3 holes behind you and there's nothing covering up the other spaces around the rock, including like flowers or weeds or that type of thing, and you pick up the stone that was already there when the day started, you can hit it up to 8 times and get 8 things from the rock.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. I never would have thought of that.
yeah, so that makes it a little bit easier, but
Hmm.
that's mostly why I end up using the shovel because I already have it out anyway. But
Yeah, I just like running around with the axe in general.
and swinging at things, yeah.
Just like going into someone else's house with the axe out, like it makes me think like maybe they're freaked out about that, but probably not because it's a stupid video game.
That's pretty
I don't
good.
know. It's just funny, like you're like walking out of like the community center building, like holding an axe. Like,
You also have two Tammys on your island, I think, don't you?
huh? Who's
The
Tammy?
Tammy, there's Tammy. I think you have Tammy with an I and Tammy with a Y, which I was like, I don't know if you picked these because you love Parks and Rec and want to be Ron Swanson or
I
what,
was
but
just
I
thinking about that.
didn't even think about that.
I might be wrong. I can't. I don't remember exactly, but I thought you had Tammy with an I and Tammy with a Y. But
I don't know any of their names. I just know that the frog character likes to work out.
yeah, well, and the thing is, eventually you get the option to give them gifts. So if you give him things like a punching bag or um like a barbell or things like that, then he'll
Mm.
give you like a really shitty piece of clothing that you don't really want.
I would
Sweet.
think the frog would be all about leg day.
That's entirely
You
possible.
would, but
Yeah.
he just wants to pump iron like all day long.
Maybe he's
Hmm.
trying to make up for the fact that his arms are not as, you know,
Yeah,
powerful
possibly.
as his legs. He skipped a lot of arm days, so now
Yep.
he's not going to anymore.
The game has no purpose. It like there's no purpose to this game at all. Like I don't understand why it's enjoyable.
I
It's
mean,
so
I
weird.
do because I can. It's like I said last time. You can pay off your loan in like a day. That's great.
I
Yeah,
guess,
it's
man.
like doing all the things that you wish you could do in your real life
Yeah,
somehow quicker, you know.
but you're
Is that what it
so
is?
yeah. You're
Yeah.
you're just you don't have the energy to do it in real life, but because it's a video game, you're willing to do it in the video
It's
game.
like the same kind of satisfaction you get from like Destiny when you're into just playing by yourself and just want to finish patrols and bounties and shit.
I
I
didn't
would
realize
imagine it's
people
kind of
got
similar.
satisfaction out of Destiny.
You used to.
Nah, I don't know if it was satisfaction.
I think even Alex understands what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
There was a time where it filled a purpose. Like it's like, ooh, I can accomplish all these things. I'm checking boxes,
it's
and
true.
really, you're not accomplishing anything. But
I guess.
I mean, at least with there's probably like a bit of a creative side to Animal Crossing, like as far as how you can arrange your things and
Well,
stuff.
yeah, in that and just I did spend a lot of time trying to make the Midwest Game Nerds t-shirt look good. Like probably way more time than I should have spent on it, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's just it's a weird game for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I get that. It's not something that I would have normally thought I would enjoy, but I'm having fun with it. So
Yeah. Anything else that you played or no?
I think that's it. Other
We
than Resident Evil 3, of course, which I could talk about now, but I think, John, you should talk for a little bit.
Oh yeah, we played a bunch of Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
We did.
So if anybody wants to jump in on that, we've had 5 squads, like 5 stacks lately. But I'd be down to just get some like 3-on-3 going or whatever if we get
Or
more
five
people,
on five.
or 5-on-5. Yeah, I mean let's get the group together and do it.
That'd be fun.
And I purchased Good Job on the Nintendo Switch, which is a puzzle game. It's like a physics sandbox puzzle game where you have like basically you go to a different level of this building, and each level has 4 puzzles to it. Each puzzle is based on a different like position within a particular company. So like the first level was uh I can't remember, like, think like the mail room,
Yeah.
or like the presentation center or something, like different, like conference room, things like that. And like the first task you have to do is like this projector explodes, so you have to move the projector from one end of the building to the other end of the building, but the projector doesn't fit through any of the doors that you have available to you, so you have to basically take the plugs that are in the walls and stretch them across the room to create like a bungee system, and then launch the projector through all of the walls across the entire floor to the room where it needs to be. And then you go to that room and you set it up, plug it in, and turn it on, and it's good to go. um it's just a charming little puzzle game with like cool little spot figures. There's other puzzles where like there's the one of the levels I had to go and collect the employees that weren't doing their job and put them back in the room so they could do their job. So you had to figure out like how to get them there, and like the only way to carry the employees is to get them on a chair. So you have to shove a chair underneath them and like they fall onto it, and then you carry them out of the room. Or you can set up a bungee system and launch them through a wall. Like it's up to you like how you want to do it, but it's all very physics based and fun and cool. And when you're launching something, the Joy-Con on the controller like has this really high pitched buzz that it does to like tell you how intense the tension is on your
Oh.
bungee that you've created. And the sound that it makes is like super annoying. And Megan just kept looking over at me like, "What the fuck is that sound?" And I'm like, it's the controller. Like, I don't know. I could turn the vibration off, but that's like, it's
That's the
it's
point.
a HD rumble. Like, I
Yeah.
want to have all the features going. I played it for a couple hours. It's super fun. It has a grading system, so like it has replayability. So you go back, and if you don't get a grade good enough, you can redo a level to get a better grade. You get higher grades based on finishing a mission with a lower time and without destroying as many things. Like there's like overall damage that you do, and then there's like priceless artifacts that are within like on display within the offices. So if you don't break the artifacts, like you get a better grade. If you don't destroy a bunch of walls, you get a better grade. So the whole point is to just not destroy as many things as you can and get it across the level. But it might be fun to just like try and destroy everything as quickly as possible. And like your time grade is like an A+, but like your destruction grade is like a total F. Like that might be a fun way to play it too. But yeah, it's a fun little game. Definitely want to go back and play some more of it. It's pretty satisfying in its own right. I'm trying to think if we played anything else. I don't really think so. I played a little bit of Tetris and Puyo Puyo Tetris just because I had it on my Switch and wanted to play it. We did download Tabletop Simulator,
hmm
and I made a puzzle one night at like 3 in the morning, and we put the puzzle together, and then
hmm
I flipped the table. That was fun. Flipping the table is definitely a fun aspect of that.
Did you was that did you upload a picture to make the puzzle?
Yeah, you can just like when you set up the puzzle, it
Oh,
asks you to upload a picture. So I just grabbed like the first JPEG that was in like one of my art folders and threw that in there.
that's
Was
awesome.
it a nude?
No, it was the John Constantine tattoo logo.
The white space in it made it kind of hard, but we
Yeah, it had a
figured
lot of white
we
space.
mostly figured it out. I mean, I'm not. The thing is, Tabletop Simulator's so loose. I don't really know that it was going to tell us, "Hey, good job, you did it."
Right.
So I think we mostly got it together.
Yeah, I was a little confused because I just fired it up for a minute just to do the tutorial and see what it was all about. And it looks promising, but I loaded up the pre-made chess game,
Hmm.
and then I was like, well, wait a minute, I could just move the pieces anywhere I want. There's
Yeah,
like no rule set.
it's
Yeah,
just
well
like the real
it's
world.
literally just a physics sandbox. Like you do whatever you want. There are no rules.
Can you set up rules?
I don't know. I'm assuming you can, like depending on like I have to go through the workshop and see what's available,
There's
like how
probably like a rule book, I would assume, but it's not like you can. I don't think it would allow you to like make a chessboard in which the pieces are actually limited to whether they can move or not.
Yeah, I guess
mean,
that
why
makes
not?
sense.
Is it like Unreal Engine? How is it programmed? Like, could you program a particular like shell of a game to behave in a particular way? I would assume you could.
I don't
So
know.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, I was just confused as to why it even has a single player mode if you like, what am I gonna
What if you don't have a deck of cards and you want to play some solitaire?
Right?
Yeah, but what am I gonna play chess by myself? That's just
Maybe
silly.
some people do that. They do that in movies.
Yeah, man. You're old
Okay.
enough to play chess by yourself.
Okay.
Usually see those old guys at the park doing it. In like New York in movies and TV shows.
Mm.
I
Anyways,
I did more like Jackbox stuff through Hangouts. Hangouts is a really good way to do it.
you
You
think
use
so?
like one Gmail to share your screen, and then you use another Gmail to like video chat with everybody.
Oh, but you're doing it all through computer.
Well,
Okay.
actually, I did have my capture. So since I set up my capture stuff for Daft Hunk, I was able to hook up my Switch and my PlayStation to do the Jackbox
Ah.
games through that too. because there's a way in OBS you can just tell it, hey, I want you to full screen this particular video source.
Okay.
Mm.
And then I
Yeah.
did it that way, and that worked out pretty well. So there was not much lag, and it was closed to the public. Obviously, it's just the Google Hangout, so it was good.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I played anything else. I do want to go back and play No Man's Sky. Gladish said No Man's Sky is like even better now somehow, but they they added the exomech to it,
Mhm.
so that's cool.
Yeah, I would like to try that as well.
Which
It'd
are
be really
apparently
cool.
invulnerable to like environmental hazards on the
Yes.
planets too. That's awesome.
Yeah, which is cool. I'd like to see like I don't know if it's like able to do it or not, but I'd like to be able to change the way the mech looks
Hmm.
to like make it more like Evangelion or like more Gundam style or whatever. Like, but
I mean,
either way, I was
if you
either way,
play
it's still
on
cool.
if you play on PC, you can probably get mods to do that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I want it to look like the loader from Aliens.
No,
Uh,
you don't want it to look like the Zords from Power Rangers.
That'd be good too.
it's
I'll
funny. I
take
just
that.
watched Aliens last night, and for
That's
the
good.
first time in probably over 10 years.
It's a good movie.
It holds up very well. It's actually better than I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Erica had not seen it. She had only seen Alien,
Oh, wow.
and so yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen
she
Alien.
enjoyed it a lot.
Alien and Aliens are really good. 3 is not so great.
Yeah, we
Resurrection is not
immediately,
so
out
great.
of curiosity, just went into watching Alien 3,
Yeah.
and it's just jarring how different it is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm a fan of Prometheus, even though everyone hated it. So
Mm.
Did you watch Alien Covenant?
no, I have not seen that yet.
You should watch that one too, because that's
Is
the
it good?
follow up to Prometheus.
No,
There's some good things.
Okay.
the aliens look cool.
I don't know why I didn't see it.
There's
but-
a scene where there's 2 Michael Fassbenders, and
Oh,
one
yeah,
of
and they
them
make out.
has a flute, and he puts it to the mouth of the other one and says, "I'll do the fingering."
That's probably the best part of the movie.
It might be, but it's better when they do it. So go see the movie.
All right.
Anyway, I can talk about Resident Evil for a bit.
Yeah, do it. You've been streaming Resident Evil 3 on Twitch under your Daft Hunk series.
Yeah, so there's 3 episodes up right now. Episodes, I think 5, 6, and 7, because I kept the numbering from the old series as well. But 7 split in 2 parts because the stream messed up in the middle of the stream. Hopefully, it's not too terrible. But Gladish did inform me that at one point the sound cut out on the stream or on the game. Anyway, whatever. Playing
So
Resident Evil 3
all you could
remake.
hear is you like heavy breathing, like
Yeah, pretty.
Damn it.
But yeah, so it's Resident Evil 3 remake just came out about a week or 2 ago. It's a remake of the 3rd Resident Evil in the same style as the Resident Evil 2 remake. They're using the same engine, which is the engine from Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 7.
it's gorgeous.
It looks very good. It looks even better with HDR and in 4K on the Pro on my normal
sure.
TV. But so I have a stream save file going, and I have a non-stream save file that I just started last night that I'm gonna lag behind a little bit, so that I'm not overly prepared for anything that I stream. But yeah, the thing is, I think the only thing that's missing for this game for me is any type of fondness for the original one. Resident Evil 3 was never one of my favorites, especially not in the way that Resident Evil 2 was, which, as I previously stated, was one of my favorite games of all time. And Resident Evil 3 does things very differently. There's way more ammo around. You are meant to kill certain people, or certain zombies and creatures and things of that nature. And it takes place like on a much larger scale. You're not necessarily just stuck in a mansion. You're out in the streets of Raccoon City, trying to stay away from Nemesis or accomplish little goals and things like that. And so it was funny because I was playing on Friday and Willie was watching me and he kept being like, "Oh, hey, don't forget there's a lock over on the toy store." And I just didn't catch his comment in time, and I immediately like went through a threshold, which then I couldn't go back.
Oh, bummer.
And when I started playing myself last night, I realized just how much shit I missed. I missed like hip pouch upgrades. I missed a shotgun upgrade. I missed so much stuff
Amateur.
on my stream game. Like I even there's a point where you're meant to get a grenade launcher that you can use against Nemesis in like a subsequent fight, like the first real big Nemesis boss fight that you do on a rooftop, and I completely missed the grenade launcher. Like
Bummer.
well, it's a little bit of a bummer, but also you can watch me defeat Nemesis with a shotgun. So
Okay. So it's enjoyable in its
it
own
worked
right.
out. Yeah, I got to a point actually yesterday where I was about to try and defeat Nemesis with a knife, but it didn't work out. I died. I lost too much. I used up too much of my ammo, so I had to go back and armor up a little bit better. And thankfully, the game does give you the grenade launcher again if you missed it earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it technically is great. It's just not exactly like, I think the reason I love 2 so much is because I already had so much love for that game, and I don't have that same love for Resident Evil 3. Doesn't mean I won't get there by the end of this game. It does seem pretty different. I did actually go back and watch a couple Let's Plays of the original Resident Evil 3 just to kind of get a feel for what it was like, and honestly, this one feels like it moves a lot faster. The remake does. I've heard it's maybe only 8 to 10 hours long, which is a little short in my opinion, but we'll see how long it takes me. But it's interesting. Like, having Nemesis around honestly isn't as menacing as Mr. X. Because he basically shows up for these portions where you're on the street or there's a lot of like cinematic-y type stuff happening that you're mostly just watching it happen to you, and then you're kind of running away for a little bit of it or things of that nature. And I feel like the game is missing a little bit of that. Like when you faced Mr. X in 2, it was all you. There weren't a lot of situations where like, oh, Mr. X can't come at you because this thing is in the way now. Like, it was mostly just like, yeah, Mr. X can come and beat your ass if he wants to. You just got to get the hell out of there and avoid him. And I feel like Nemesis isn't quite as terrifying to deal with as Mr. X is. And I think that's a general shift from 2 to 3 anyway. Like I said, 3 is much more actiony. You're meant to kill things rather than get away from them. You can conserve ammo a lot less.
I mean, that's kind of how the whole genre, well, not genre, the franchise shifted, right? Like it went from being more of like a conservative, don't kill everything, save your bullets, like try to get around things when you can, to being more of like a shoot 'em up, as if like, I mean, were they trying to bring in new players by changing the gameplay, or was it like they just wanted to do something different with the series in general? But it kind of all shifted that way moving forward.
For sure. Yeah, 3 is the perfect middle child between Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4, without a doubt. And
That's how numbers work.
well, but also in terms of like 4 is straight up action, you know.
Yeah.
What
for
about
sure.
2.56?
What?
This isn't Kingdom
Oh.
Hearts, Brian.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But no, it's certainly very interesting. Like I maybe my expectations were kind of weird because of the fact that I didn't love 3 that much. I was kind of seeing this as their opportunity to readjust and try to recapture some of that survival horror-y stuff that didn't necessarily come through in the original. And they didn't do that. They did a pretty straight remake in a lot of cases, but you know, it's not bad. It plays great. And I haven't been extremely frustrated at anything necessarily yet. But you know, I'm enjoying my time with it. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I think we're probably going to try and do a spoiler cast with, you know, me and Willie and maybe Gojo or Tim if they're finished with it.
Yeah.
But no, it's certainly interesting. And what news that just came out today is that they're actually going to do a remake of 4 supposedly, which honestly doesn't need it at all, but it's the one that's going to make them money, so they're going to do it anyway. And that's a little bit of a bummer, but what are you going to do? Uh, Business is business, right? So
Right.
that'll be interesting to see. But I can't honestly, like, one was remade, but this engine is so gorgeous, and they did such a good job with two that I feel like a remake of one would be incredible. I know people want Code Veronica pretty bad because that one was also quite good, but kind of overlooked at the time.
Because that was Dreamcast only at the time, right? Like when it
Yeah,
first came out.
yeah, and then eventually it came to PlayStation 2 and GameCube, I believe, but it took quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
Plus, it'd have a cool name. You could just call it remake.
It's true. It's true. But
Oh my god.
let me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be using the soundboard because it's been kind of hard to actually put that into our mix. But anyway,
That's sad.
yeah, um, yeah. No, it's fun. I'm excited to play more of it. It's been fun playing it on stream. I think some people have been entertained by it, and I'm excited to play more. But it's weird because I like right now more than anything, I just want to sit down and play Final Fantasy VII, and my copy hasn't arrived yet. So
Hmm.
That's a whole other issue.
yeah, we can talk about that now. I think if
Yeah.
you'd like. So I had Resident Evil 7 pre-ordered. I had uh the limited edition or whatever it's called, not the crazy one that was $100, but the one that's normally $80. It was $55 on Amazon when I pre-ordered it, and it's expected to arrive Tuesday. But John, let's get into your thoughts on why you're probably not going to buy the game.
All right. So here's the deal. I really want to play it, like really bad, but I just can't justify not having the rest of it available to me by the time I reach the end of the first like remake episode. I need to have the whole game. So I think it's in my personal best interest to wait until the whole thing is done and then buy like the definitive edition where it has everything, with the hopes that maybe they'll also incorporate Crisis Core and Advent Children and expand beyond just the initial game itself,
Yeah,
and then have this complete package of like what Final Fantasy VII really is altogether.
that's going to take like decades, man.
I
Yeah, you
know.
might be dead before that comes out.
I know. It's a chance I'm willing to take though. Um
I mean, the
I don't
thing to me that I'm most like the thing that is making me want to play it so bad is that I'm just deadly curious about how they give any sense of closure to this first chapter of the game. Like I want to know where they put that hard stop at.
yeah.
And I know the info's out there. I could look it up or whatever, but I want to play it too, obviously. So like I've heard some of the discussions of where they've expanded things, and it sounds great. I know some people are like, there are things that were maybe one screen in the original game that are actually like a 20 to 30 minute side tour, or like just like a 20 to 30 minute thing that you need to do instead of it just being a
Yeah.
screen, which will probably bother those like super hardcore fans, but honestly, since I don't know all of that game like the back of my hand, I don't think it'll bother me that much. But I'm really curious. I'm excited for my copy to get here because I do want to play it really bad. And there's a free PlayStation Plus theme that's out right now, and it's just the shot of Cloud looking up at the reactor, but they play the orchestral version of the battle music as your like
Nice.
system music. So download that if you like that because it sounds great.
Like, what's the estimate and how long it takes to do this first episode?
I think it's like a 40-hour game.
Oh wow.
Like
which is
it's
which is
not
about twice as long as what the original was when it, like, I remember putting in about 20 something hours like on disc 1 when the original came out.
well, that's the thing is that I don't even think this is disc 1.
You think it expands beyond disc 1, like you break out
No.
of Midgar, or
No.
like
So like
it's
isn't
it's
doesn't
less than that?
doesn't disc 1 end with the big spoiler?
Yeah.
That's not at the end of Midgar. You get out of Midgar way before that. Like
I don't remember,
getting out of
man.
Midgar is like the crazy motorcycle chase,
okay,
and then you're done. And that's honestly, like 4 or 5 hours of the original game. Like it's not much. So
Yeah, I guess I just don't remember much of it. But yeah, the big spoiler, it doesn't happen that far ahead though from you getting out of Midgar.
maybe not. And like what I've played most recently, I did play some of Final Fantasy VII on Switch, and I got as far as the end of Midgar. And so like that didn't take me that long, although I was playing the Switch version, so I did fast
Yeah, you
forward
have
it
like
where I could.
the speed run or whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just really like it's not like they're shortchanging people, and it sounds like there are some people that are really appreciative of some of the changes that they've made. Like it sounds like they're fleshing out a lot more of the side characters. You get to know more about Jesse and things of that nature. So it's not necessarily like I think there are people out there that are appreciating what they did in order to flesh it out. But I can imagine there are some hardcore fans that are just not happy with what they did, and I like you were damned if you did, damned if you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, I mean, hearing how excited like the Kotaku split screen guys are about guys and girl are about this particular game after being extremely apprehensive about it to begin with, like intrigued me more and made me like more excited about it. But again, at the same time, I know I'm gonna want more, and it's not gonna be available. And without knowing when it's available, like that's the other like if there was just information like, okay, we've released episode 1, episode 2 expect in like 6 months, and episode 3 expect 6 months after that. Like if I
If
had that, if I had a timeline laid out,
yeah,
I would maybe consider it then. Like knowing like, okay, I've got 6 months to get through this one and every other game that I have like in my roster of games that I plan on playing right now or not because my baby's coming soon. And then like at that point, by the time the baby's 6 months old, I'll have another Final Fantasy episode to look forward to on top of Cyberpunk. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's like
oh yeah.
if there were a way for me to like map out like when it's coming so that I could like have some kind of anticipation and planning set up for it, like that would be sweet. But as of right now, like, I just my entire future is dedicated to Cyberpunk.
I get it. I totally get it. The thing is, like, from what like I'm honestly expecting like a 2-year cadence between these games.
2 years,
Oh
damn.
yeah, without a doubt. Because Final Fantasy 13 came out in 2009, then 13-2 came out in 2011, and then Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13 came out in 2013. Like they have their engine in place, they know what they want to do. They have to make assets and animate things and do that type of stuff. Like they have the bones in place now, so it's not going to take them the 10 or 15 years that it takes to make a Final Fantasy game sometimes. But it's still going to take
Hopefully.
time. Like especially if you're making a 40-hour game out of each of these segments.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's gonna take time and everything, and maybe it's only gonna be a second episode and the game's done. You know what I mean? Because like once you get to the big spoiler, there isn't a ton of game left after that. There's a lot of exploration and side quest and nonsense that you don't have to do any of that shit.
Oh, they
You don't
better put the gold saucer in, man. I
You don't
want to
but
go to
you
the
don't
gold
have to
saucer.
yeah, but that's the thing is you don't have to do any of that stuff, and, like, you don't have to go and hunt
Yeah.
down Knights of the Round, and you don't have to, like, go and, like, get Vincent. Like, Vincent's a total side quest. Like, you don't have their, like, character like, you don't even have to pick up Yuffie, I don't think. Like, she's not
No.
even that important. Like,
Yeah.
Who?
but
What now? Yuffie?
yeah, shut the fuck up. Anyways,
Man. Uh,
yeah, you didn't play
why
enough
am I even
Japanese
here right now?
you didn't play enough Japanese games as a kid. Like,
No.
yeah, because the ball and stick or that stick and hoop thing was made by the pioneers, so but,
It's a
um,
knockoff of
any
a Japanese toy from the 1100s.
anyways, like they could add that, like all that stuff could be there if they wanted to, but if they wanted to just strip the game down to being like, this is the main story of Final Fantasy 7, they could do that. And then like throw in DLC that's like this is Crisis Core, so you can learn about Zack. This is Advent Children, so you can see what happens afterwards. Like,
It would be very interesting to me to see if, like, I don't know if there's any DLC plans for this game.
yeah, I mean, what if the DLC is like the gold saucer and like you get to do the chocobo farming
That'd
and you get to
probably
play
be a
all the
great way to
arcade
do
games
it.
and
That'd be awesome. Like, I think I'd be down for that. But I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows exactly how they've
we
divided
just
this
don't
up?
know. We just
Yeah,
don't know.
it's true. So
What if it's like Half-Life 2's episodes, and then they make 2 of them, promising pretty much that there's a third one, and then they just never make it, and then they make a Final Fantasy VR game like a decade later.
If I cared enough, I would murder them, but I don't. So it's fine.
Yeah. Here's the thing. People wanted a Final Fantasy VII remake for decades at this point.
It's been
it
10
took
years, if
20,
not-
20 years from the first, over 20 years from the first time, from the original game. And they were like, oh, it's going to happen for the PS3. And then they made that stupid tech demo that everybody's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And now they finally made this. Like, I don't know. It's insane to me that it didn't just get completely shat on, since they've changed so much stuff and how the game works. And you know, like, I'm just shocked that critics don't fucking hate the game. But I'm
Well,
also kind of curious to see if the critics maybe love it, but the real fans, quote unquote, just hate it. I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much. I'm excited to form my own opinion about it in the coming weeks, but
it's just they have enough to go on, like story-wise and character-wise and everything, like setting, based on the original Final Fantasy VII, that I don't think they can like fail as hard as they can, like to their fan base at least, with a brand new Final Fantasy game, you know? Like
for
I feel
sure.
like this is kind of a no-fail situation for them.
Yes and no, though, because like I remember what I was saying for those 20 years, which was like changed absolutely nothing, keep the same fucking script. I don't give a fuck. Just make it look like Advent Children. That's all that I wanted forever, and they didn't do that. They're putting more content in. They changed the way the battle system works. The materia system works
They
different.
changed plot points.
They changed plot points in some situations. Like like they changed a lot. And the fact that it's not just like, oh, this is fucking sacrilege, which I'm sure there are people out there saying this.
The user score is lower than the critic score.
Okay. Yeah. Which I think I would probably expect. Honestly, I think there are a lot of critics out there that didn't love Final Fantasy VII as much as everybody else did back in the
there
day.
isn't a single negative critic review. There are 77 positives and 6 mixed, and then in the user reviews there's 502 positive, 61 mixed, and 182 negative.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting dichotomy. So I'm interested to see where I fall in that. Like maybe I'll get to a point where I'm like, nope.
But you have to think too, like these critics are probably older gamers
Mm-hmm.
that remember the original, and I would assume that the users are, I mean, the average video gamer is between 25 and 38 now, I think is the range. So figure some of them are going to be on the younger end of things and don't necessarily remember Final Fantasy as much, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I want to play it, but I want all of it. Because I know, like, I would hate to pay $60. It's the Destiny conundrum. Like, I would hate to pay $60 for it now and have everything released for $60 like down the line. You know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's just like a different story to me, man.
Like, am I gonna have to invest $180 total to get Final Fantasy in its complete like thing, or like can I wait until the end of it and like get everything for $60? Or, you know, in the future our video game's going to cost even more, and it's really more like $240 for each individual episode later on, and or for all the episodes later on, and you know what I mean, like
It's just such a different like value proposition. Like the amount of people, like I would be, it'd be great to see how many people worked on Final Fantasy VII versus how many people worked on this first chapter of the remake, and then also like think about it. That game was made with like pre-rendered backgrounds. Like they made the imagery and it would scroll on the screen for where it needed to go, and that's one thing. But like this is a full
oh, I know they're building
3D
this entire
recreation
game from the ground up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got to
It's
be
not just
monumental.
this is more than just a recreation. This is like a reimagination of like an entire like video game universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it is a much larger task to take on than just, you know, doing an updated version of and you know, like taking, I mean, it's similar, I guess. Yeah, look at Resident Evil remakes, even like the original Resident Evil had like some pre-rendered background shit
Yeah,
too, wasn't it?
for sure. Absolutely.
So
But the interior of a mansion is not the
is not a giant fucking cyberpunk city like
giant fucking cyberpunk city, which is only the first third of the game. Like they have like a
Right.
world map that's out there. Like who knows even what they're gonna do with that? Which is probably why they stopped where they did. Like
right.
how are you gonna go to the Chocobo farm and then you go to the Jun Cannon? Like what I don't even know what that is going to look like. And if it's going to be this weird, like truncated, like I know Final Fantasy 15, you got that sweet car to run around in, and in 7, you got a car at 1.2, and assume you're gonna get the airship at some point. So
Oh yeah, I remember the car. That was
yeah,
funny. And then
so
they bring the car basically gets brought into Final Fantasy 15.
hmm
So there's that whole sequence of there's a whole like your travel system in Final Fantasy 15 is a fucking like Cadillac.
yeah, it's a, it's
Yeah,
a
that
it's a
seems pretty cool.
so like what are they gonna do? Is that how it's gonna work in this one? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah,
It's
I don't know, man.
I'm very curious to see how it does. I'm happy that there seem to be a lot of people happy with it because it could have just been like a sorry Square Enix, you tried, but you didn't make what we wanted, and who knows. So
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's I want to play it, but I'm gonna have to wait, I think.
I get it. I will plan on talking about it next time. I don't know if there's anything else coming out in between the next couple episodes. Maybe we can get Webby on finally for
Yeah.
some Final Fantasy talk.
No, dude,
But
disc 1 ends with the big spoiler. You're right. That does you're out of Midgar at that point. I'm just looking up a whole breakdown of the disc separation.
yeah, no, and so like where on that separate like does it tell you where you get out of Midgar in the first disc?
Yeah,
Like
let me go back here.
How many
Um,
discs were there?
3,
There were 3 discs.
and there's much less on disc 3 than there is on any of the other two. But
So
That makes sense.
it's not going to give me a time breakdown, but I'm trying to see here. Cuz you leave Midgar and you go to Calm,
yeah,
and then you go to the Chocobo farm, and then the Mithril mine, and then Junon,
so
Costa del Sol. Yeah, I mean it happens pretty early on. It's within like let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah, so there's somebody here on the Final Fantasy subreddit that says I recently replayed Final Fantasy 7. I really took my time with it, and Midgar finished around 5 hours or so.
That's like 1/3 of the first disc is Midgar,
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah. So I don't know.
So it's 1/9 of the game.
Potentially.
So there's gonna be 9 episodes, maybe 10.
Well, no, because what Alex is saying is that we don't know where this first episode ends, so we don't really know how it's going to be broken up moving forward.
I've heard that it ends when you get out of Midgar, but I don't know if that means you go to Calm. That
Do you want me to look it up?
might no. It might be good to like introduce some Sephiroth stuff and then get the
Well,
fuck
that's
out
the
of
thing
there
is
and
they've
let it.
introduced Sephiroth stuff like early on because they show Cloud having weird flashbacks and shit. So like he's brought into the story way earlier than the original.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, it's probably enough about a game that we haven't played yet.
I need to know where it
Yeah.
ends, so I'm gonna look it up.
Don't
I
do it
really-
right now.
I'm doing
Please.
it right now.
Well, you don't want to spoil it for anyone that actually listens to this.
I'm not gonna say anything. I just want to know.
Okay.
we
That's
can
cool.
move on to the news stuff if you want to move on to news.
Oh, is there
All right.
news too?
Yeah,
Oh.
we're gonna do a little
Yeah.
bit of news.
We posted a whole bunch of links.
As long as that's okay with you.
We can
Brian.
move quickly through the first one.
I mean, I'm in no rush other than I should probably go to the bathroom, but
Well, I mean, okay.
I could probably just do that.
He's doing it right now.
All right.
Here in the world of pandemic, we've upgraded our gaming systems.
My new rig has a catheter built in.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you guys were talking about Animal Crossing earlier, how's the TP situation in Boner Town and Fire Island?
Nobody pisses and shits in Boner Town, so we're good.
You just dig a hole?
Yeah.
Or-
You dig a hole. Yeah, no, you bust out your shovel and you dig a hole. That's
No,
exactly
I
what we
mean,
do.
I think Nicole's got a toilet in her house. I don't know if I have one yet or not, but
Things are looking grim in the real world, man.
Well, the funny thing is since you can eat 10 pieces of fruit and then you can use those to like dig up a tree or break a rock, but if you go on the toilet, then it will get rid of that. Like it'll empty out the 10 pieces of fruit that you ate so that you don't break rocks or anything anymore.
Interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah. But
That's so Japanese.
yeah. All right.
Anyways,
So John, there was some reveal about the Cyberpunk 2077
DLC.
DLC, yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah, so
don't have
they
the actual story pulled up yet.
there was a investor Q&A last week between CD Projekt Red and some of their investors, and it came out that they are going to be releasing DLC much like they did for the Witcher, and no less than what the Witcher 3 had. So expect at least a couple of story expansions and then a bunch of additional like downloadable content. DLC to CD Projekt Red isn't just like paid content, like it's all free typically, and it tends to be like very well done. The story content won't be free most likely, but the little
No.
bits of like upgraded costumes and like different kinds of maybe guns and things and augmented skills and shit like that will most likely be the free content, and then they will have you pay for story content. But it's CD Projekt Red is known to be very, very kind with the amount of DLC they release for an affordable price. So if I recall correctly, The Witcher 3 story expansions were somewhere around like what, $10 a piece, Brian?
No.
15?
I think they were like 20.
Yeah, 20, I think.
But they added like another 20 hours of gameplay each.
I'm pretty sure the season pass that included both of them was 30.
Okay. So yeah, so figure like in that case, $15 a piece if you buy the season pass, and you get an additional like 20 to, or I'm sorry, like 40 to 60 hours of gameplay roughly added to it. Like that's pretty nuts, you know, very value conscious. Yeah, CD Projekt Red does some good shit, and um, they're 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 looking forward to this game coming out. I did also hear that it will not be coming out right away for the next generation consoles. Was another thing that I read. They are still releasing it in September for like PC, PlayStation, and PS4 and Xbox One, but it's going to be the next gen version will come out after the release of the new systems.
However, if you buy them for those systems, it'll still work on the new
Yes.
consoles. So
Well,
that's cool.
That's confirmed for the Series X. It's not confirmed for the PS5 yet, I don't
I
think.
thought they said that you could play PS4 games on it.
You can play PS4 games on it, but they have not guaranteed that you will get the upgraded PS5 version of the game.
Oh, that, yeah.
So
Well,
Microsoft did confirm that
yeah.
for the Xbox, but that might not be the case for the PS5 yet. We don't know.
Either way,
Interesting.
I'm just saying, like, if you want to leave your old console behind but still want to play this new game,
Yeah, you can trade in
that's
your
cool.
PS4 and still play. Yeah, for sure.
I actually, when I sold my PS4, I kept a lot of my games in hopes that I could still play them.
Yeah. Sounds like you'll be able to. Cool.
Sweet.
Yep.
What's next?
Google Stadia, everybody's favorite streaming video game platform. It's now free for everybody, and you can get a 2-month trial of the pro tier, which is $10 per month normally.
Supposedly, if you had canceled your subscription, you also get an extra 2 months, but I have yet to see mine come over. I did get an email from them saying that I got it,
Yeah, I don't know.
but I can't play any of my other games that I had downloaded from Pro originally.
So basically, this is like going live. This has been going live over the past week or two at this point. And so the free tier, it's a free service, but you still have to pay for the games that you want to play. You can buy Borderlands 3 on Stadia for $59.99. And if you're not subscribed to the Pro subscription, then you get to play it at 1080p, 60 frames per second, and stereo sound. If you pay the $10 per month, you get it at 4K. Still, I don't know how many frames per second necessarily. Does it go up to 120? I can't remember. But then also you get 5.1 surround sound, HDR, and yeah. So that's what you get if you do the Pro one. But there's also like a list of free games that you get in the Pro subscription, still including Destiny 2 Complete Collection or whatever, SteamWorld Dig 2 and Grid. There's some Tomb Raider games in there. So they have like 9 or so games that I think you get if you subscribe to that trial and
Yeah.
keep the subscription as well. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be very curious to hear if anybody out there gives it a try. It's weird that so it's now free for everyone. Did they update the Chromecast so that people can play it like that, or is it just through the web browser for everybody for now still?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a ton of information about it right now. Um it does say here on the TechCrunch article, on supported Android devices, you'll need to download the app. On computers, you'll need Chrome. And for your TV, you need a Chromecast Ultra. The regular one won't cut it. You can't play games on iOS yet, unfortunately. So, yeah. Cool that it's out. Kind of weird that there wasn't a ton of fanfare about it. It just kind of happened. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how they keep going with the service. It's been kind of quiet on the Stadia front as of late.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
No, I'm really bummed about the way the whole thing's played out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a huge letdown.
Well, hopefully they'll keep at it in non-Google like fashion. Maybe they will pull it out at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, next up.
Next
What do you
up,
got?
Obsidian's Grounded enters early access on July 28th. This is one that we talked about a little bit in our PAX episodes because John and Brian, you guys went to the panel that Obsidian did.
Yes.
So it's going to be early access on PC and Xbox One on July 28th. I think I also read that it's going to be in Steam early access as well.
Yep, it's right at the top of the article.
Yeah.
It says it's coming to Steam early access and game preview.
So you can if you have Xbox Game Pass, you'll be able to play it off of that on both PC and Xbox, or you can probably buy into it through Steam if you would like to. But are you guys excited for this one?
I'm pretty
I
pumped,
am.
man. Yeah, I will probably buy it on Steam ahead of time, just because this literally looks like if you put Fallout 76 in the capable hands of Obsidian and we're given a finished, good-looking game.
Interesting.
It just occurred to me my Game Pass will be out by then.
That's
so,
a bummer.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to buy into something.
Yeah, I canceled all my subscription services a while ago, so.
Well, I mean, if it's $40, or I can spend, like
$60
much
on
a
a
month,
year or something,
then I'm gonna go with the pass.
Yeah. So that's cool. We're gonna skip this one for a second. Games Radar reporting that Disco Elysium Switch port is currently in development. That's pretty cool. Of course, you guys are welcome because whenever I buy a game that I would probably want to play on Switch on my computer, it then comes out for Switch.
That's the thing. Like it's on sale right now on Steam still, I think.
Oh, really?
And I want to buy this game very badly, but I can't bring myself to do it, knowing that there's going to be a Switch port coming, because I feel like I would much rather play it like on the Switch for some reason.
This is definitely one I would much rather play on PC because it involves a lot of reading.
That's fair.
Well, yeah, and you're blind. I guess that makes sense.
Because I mean, like, if I remember correctly from all that I heard about the game, a lot of it is just text-based.
Yeah, there's zero
dialogue.
combat. It's all.
No, I'm saying like it's not all voice acted,
and
like some of it is.
Like most books that I purchase, I haven't read it yet. I haven't played this game at all since I bought it. So I mean, I feel, I don't know. It's really weird for me. I don't necessarily ever want to sit down at my computer and play a video game, which is strange. I think I just prefer the TV situation. Maybe it's because I have a very nice TV and that's where a lot of my video games are. But
You have a pretty nice monitor,
I do have a pretty nice monitor too, but
but it doesn't have HDR. So
There's
time to
there's
upgrade your
something
monitor.
there's something about sitting in front of an extremely large television and like playing a game. Like I don't it's
the 5.1 surround sound also is a very nice.
like it's hard to see. I mean, maybe I can turn my camera, but like there's not a lot of room in my game room here,
Yeah.
and in all
It's very
reality,
cluttered.
it's super cluttered.
I'm sure.
Playing
Yeah.
playing Death Stranding like 4 feet from that screen, it's it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Especially with surround sound, because I've got my surround sound system set up. So, when those low roar songs come itching in,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's kind of
I
rad.
mean, like you can just sit closer to your 27-inch screen though. It's like all relative to where you're
Yeah, no,
at.
well, that's the thing is like I do that like when we're playing Rainbow, I'll be like this close to the screen,
I don't
and
want to be that close to you right now.
I feel it in my lower back, like I feel the strain, because I'm a fat lazy piece of shit.
There's
Uh,
also something just about the idea of like having the sound envelop you rather than, hearing it in your headphones, even if it is like a simulated 5.1 or 7.1 or whatever the hell it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's yeah, there's something about it where I just prefer I don't know.
Consoles have their place.
They do. They
They
certainly
really
do.
do.
I mean,
But
that's
I
the
also
thing. I
like
could
I
move
this
my computer out into the living room maybe, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
you could.
Then I wouldn't have G-Sync. So,
Time for a new TV.
damn it.
Wait, you didn't get the generation that they patched in the FreeSync or no?
No, so that's the 2019. I got the 2018,
Oh,
and I wish I
damn.
would have waited, but I didn't.
Time for a new
So,
one.
well, yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Anyway, Disco Elysium coming to Switch, should be cool.
Yep. All right, what's next?
Sony has delayed The Last of Us 2 and Iron Man VR indefinitely. So The Last of Us 2 has already seen 2 or 3 delays at this point.
Thanks, Governor Half Whitmer.
Sure.
It's
It's her.
nothing to do with that,
Yeah,
but
this
It does,
Sony it's
man.
Sony's Michigan studio was really bearing the brunt of
It
these.
has everything
Yeah.
to do with that because it feels like the entire state of Michigan is blaming the coronavirus on the governor.
Yeah,
which
but
is ridiculous.
but yeah. So Last of Us Part 2 was slated for release on May 29th, and Iron Man VR was slated for release on May 15th. Both of them are just delayed, and Sony is actually giving
Mhm.
people their money back. You can't request a refund; you are getting a refund. Period.
Wow.
So I don't know. Sounds like Sony's probably not going to be a company anymore.
That's crazy.
I'm joking. But it's just crazy to me that they're just like, yeah, these aren't like it. Is there no? Are they can't do any work? That I guess that's the thing.
I bet you they're just gonna wait until the next generation.
I mean,
then
they honestly said that The Last of Us 2 is basically done. It's just they
They
don't
said
want
they
it
were.
out right now.
So actually, yeah. So the statement did mention that they wanted to make sure that people would be able to play it at the same time, which probably means that retail channels and things like that can't be properly filled at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the reason why they're delaying. They can't piss off their retail people by just putting it out digital for everybody.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of weirdness with that. They also were doing QA still, and there's a lot of weirdness about taking home PlayStation development kits and things like that. It's not like they're gonna send a contractor home with a dev kit to test their game while you can't, be in person at these places. So
right.
Mm.
very weird situation, but I don't know. It just makes me wonder how much, like, is there just going to be a point where everything this year gets delayed to later?
Yeah, 2020 has been delayed to
I'm
2021.
really hoping that Cyberpunk still comes out.
Well,
It's pretty much the only big thing this year
It's the only
at
thing
this point.
keeping me together.
like I said, I'm sure CD Projekt Red is making everybody come to work and still work not in social distancing guidelines and isn't giving them any PPE. So you can be sure that it's It probably might come out until they delay it again because they were going to do
Well,
that
when you
anyway.
pulled up that article earlier, I saw another article in the sidebar that said something about them doing all their voice acting in like a day instead of multiple days due to coronavirus.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Maybe they put everybody in one big booth.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of microphone bleed. You're gonna hear it. Like they just used all the other voices as crowd noises for the rest of the. So they just have particular mics that they pull the
Yeah.
sound. Anyway,
They have one person, they just pitch bended their voice into different people.
it's okay because they're cyborgs, you know. Anyway, Kotaku had a good report here about Borderlands 3, saying that despite the huge sales, the developers are getting totally stiffed on bonuses. Apparently, Randy Pitchford was out there telling everybody that they'd be making several like 6-figure bonuses for this game to come out, and then now he's like, "Nope, sorry. Also, if you don't like it, you can leave."
That's the
Yeah.
part I don't get. Like, if you don't like it, you can quit
Yeah.
kind of shit. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's not exactly known for being a swell guy, so I'm not super surprised here.
Quote, "We expect lifetime unit sales to be a record for the series," said Strauss Zelnick, CEO of 2K parent company Take-Two, on an earnings call in February, but it cost way too much to make. This is according to the Kotaku article.
Yeah, and they're blaming that on the fact that it switched engines like from Unreal 3 to 4, like halfway through development or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck Gearbox.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I think when I post, I don't know. I think I posted this at some point somewhere, or I was talking to people in the group chat, and I'm like, Borderlands, like Gearbox makes some good stuff sometimes, but they make it real fucking hard to like them at all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mostly just Randy Pitchford.
They also make some really bad stuff like Alien Colonial Marine
Very true.
or whatever it's called.
Yep. Yeah. So, um, yeah.
Hey, remember Paladins? Me either.
Man,
Yeah.
what was
What
that
about
other game?
yeah, Battleborn.
Oh yeah, ugh. I remember that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Oh no, that's what it was. Yeah, it was Battleborn was the one that they made. Paladins was made by somebody else. And
Yeah.
nobody knows what that is either. I
Yeah,
don't know,
fucking
whatever.
Battleborn. Well, they're closing the servers for it or something as of this year, I think, because nobody plays it.
darn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
what a
guess I
shame.
better go play that.
But anyway, it sucks. It's just, and that was a direct quote that was here in the article somewhere. I was
I
trying to
guess
find it.
the part that really sucks is like their whole system there for pay is set up to where they make like less than the average for that industry, but they make up for it by like
Giving royalties.
giving these large bonuses. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're quarterly though. So like you're getting an extra bonus based on sales quarterly
Yeah.
every quarter. Like that's it could end up like if they had a good quarter, like they could make a shitload of money. Like they said, I think when Borderlands in that article, they said when Borderlands 2 came out, a bunch of the people on staff were able to buy houses, which
Mm-hmm.
they weren't able to do before because Borderlands 2 did so well. I think they split 40% of the profit goes to the employees directly. Like that's pretty rad. Like it is a good system if you develop a good game and have a good quarter, but if you don't, like you're kind of fucked. So like selling your hiring practices on bringing people in based on that is like kind of bullshit, but it's it's not a terrible system. It could be better if you had someone who wasn't just like, if you don't like it, quit. Like,
Yeah. So that wasn't a direct quote. Jason Schreier wrote in the article, Pitchford also told Gearbox developers that if they weren't happy with the royalty system, they were welcome to quit, according to those who were in the meeting. He did not attribute the diminished bonuses to the coronavirus pandemic, which has led to economic uncertainty and pay cuts in many other fields. He did say that he hoped to get more money to employees as an advance from 2K on future royalties. So, anyway, fuck Randy Pitchford.
yeah, that dude sucks.
That's all I have to say.
I mean, money's going to be useless soon, anyways. We're all going to be trading in goods,
Toilet
mostly
paper.
TP.
Yeah.
I hope you've been saving your bottle caps.
Oh shit!
All right, the
Can
final. Nope. Go ahead.
I was going to say, can I use the tabs off of the top of my ham scans?
Sure.
Yeah,
Good, cool.
those are worth gold. So, Sony revealed the DualSense, which is the new wireless game controller for the PlayStation 5. Not a ton of clear detail on it, but it looks pretty similar to the. It's like if the PlayStation, the DualShock 4 and the Switch Pro controller had a baby, which I think is what John said at some point.
Yep.
But it still has that touchpad, so that's cool. Looking forward to 4 hours of battery life on it.
Great.
It's got the rumble triggers that are already in the Xbox controller, so that's cool.
Yep.
Haptic feedback is supposed to be a thing. But yeah, it like they call it the DualSense and they talk about touch, but it's not like anybody uses the touchpad for anything, so it's kind of baffling as to why it's here. They do talk about how there's a microphone array that's in the controller now, and there's this little mute button that's below the PlayStation button. And the PlayStation button is now just the logo instead of the button. Um, so you will be able to like speak with people without having your headset necessarily, although they did even undercut that in their own blog post. It's like you'll still want your headset for long chat things.
I don't know. That would be the perfect setup for like if you could set it up so like you have the headset plugged in and you're playing Rainbow Six and you just want to talk shit to the other team. So it's like a dual channel, like you can press the button to like just yell at the other team and then go back to talking to your friends through your party chat. Like I would be down for that.
Yeah, something tells me it probably won't work that way, but I don't know.
I'm just saying I would be okay with that.
Yeah. It does look like it's going to be USB-C, which is great. And there is no light bar on it anymore. They do have this light around the touchpad, which is cute, but no more light bars. So I guess they're not going to do any motion controller games for PlayStation VR anymore unless there's a different way to do that tracking. I
They're
don't know.
just gonna sell you a whole new controller for PSVR,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll upgrade PSVR to be more like the Index. I bet, where it has like they were looking at gloves and shit at one point. They were developing like VR gloves, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So they could be moving to that whole system.
Maybe. I that's the thing when they talk about the touch. Like it's interesting when you use the index controllers because when you squeeze things, when you like grab onto something, you can feel the point where the controller vibrates to let you know that you've taken hold of something. So I was kind of curious if that was some of what they're talking about with this touch thing and why they're calling it the DualSense, but obviously it's kind of hard to learn any of that in a blog post.
What are the two senses it is triggering?
Who knows? Well, it's got the speakers, so there's hearing,
Touch and
there's
sound.
touch, so you
Okay.
can touch it, and you can see the light. So there's actually 3 senses. It's the TriSense controller.
If you lick it, I'm sure it has a flavor.
Yeah,
So 4
there's a
senses.
pad on the bottom of it that you can lick, and it gives you a nice little electrical shock.
Maybe it has like that stuff on it too that they put on the Switch cartridges.
Yeah, the bitterant. Yeah. Lick this spot when your character eats something gross. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
yeah.
it's nice. It's got this two-tone color thing, which I don't know if I like yet. It's nice to get a glimpse of what their design stuff is for the PlayStation, since we haven't gotten any of that yet. But yeah, I don't know.
It does make me interested to see the actual system now.
Yeah, I'm ready for more news here.
Like I wonder if it's going to be a white system or if they're going to do a two-tone or if like they're going to offer white and black depending on the setup that you have. Like what is their plan for that?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really odd if the controller is two-tone and the console is not.
Well, that's the way the
That's just me.
PlayStation 4 is.
What?
The back of the PS4 controller is a different color than the front of it.
Well,
If
that's
you
like,
have like one of the colored controllers.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the
yeah,
black
I
ones.
mean, mine's just gray, dark gray, black, whatever.
Okay, fine. But
Yeah,
some of them are
anyways.
currently two-tone. Anyway, cool to see a glimpse of the future, and hopefully we get more of it again soon.
Yep.
So, All right.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? What else you got? Anything else, or
That's
is that
it.
it?
I think
That's
that's
it?
the end of it. Yeah. For
Right
news,
on.
anyway.
Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna cover next. I think we'll have to figure that out. Um,
Let's pull up the release calendar real quick. See if anything hasn't been delayed.
I think at this point everything's delayed.
Honestly, it's shocking that Final Fantasy is the game that's making it out.
Yeah. After 10 years of delay.
Yeah.
So, you see anything?
So Predator Hunting Grounds comes out on the 24th. I don't know if I'm gonna pick that up or not. That's not 14th, 26th. So 26th will be our next episode. Yeah, there's the Predator Hunting Grounds. There's the Seiken Densetsu 3 remake is coming on the 24th as well, which could be cool. But I already have a JRPG that I'm gonna play. But other than that, I don't think there's a lot. Gears Tactics is out on the 28th, supposedly. But
That's too late.
yeah, that's after the next one. So probably Final Fantasy VII is going to be our major topic for next.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll see if we can get Webby on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I know he's got a nice mic setup and everything too at home. So,
Yep,
Cool.
cool.
but yeah, if you want to follow us on social media or see other places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at mpn.bz/Patreon. And as always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. Be sure to check out Westworld FM. If you sign up for the Patreon for like $5 or more or whatever, you get access to the network Discord, and you can come and talk about all the crazy crackpot theories that I have about Westworld. So think about that as a means to engage with us as well. Alex, anything else you want to say before we bounce?
No, I think that's it.
Cool. Check out Horror Movie Yearbook 2. Those guys are sweet, and
Yeah.
we will catch you guys next time. Peace.